Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm making this video to talk about why, in strictly my opinion, VeVe needs to get rid of gems. And how did gems come into being? So what we do is we take in fiat via and VeVe converts it to gems and it's pegged on a $1 to a one gem ratio. So, in essence, what ends up happening is the gems end up as a stable coin. But how did this happen? And David, you kind of gave us a clue to this in his AMA with Queen Vivi, where he basically said that their initial design had no plans for cash out, that it would be like a game. So it was truly like he said, it would have truly been a collectible app that you're putting in dollars to collect um, items in the walled garden of Vivi, pretty much never to leave that walled garden. And in previous videos, we talked about the terms of use and how the terms of use basically say that you can't take it out. And you would do all your transactions within this game, which is Vivi. So it'd be a collectible app, just as what he said. Now, once payout got thrown into the mix. In my opinion, this creates a number of problems for VeVe, and I think David alluded to those in the AMA, whether it be money transmitter license, anti-money laundering laws, KYC, and all of this other stuff. It was just a game. None of this would have been an issue. But here's why I think it has actually become a problem, or can be a potential problem for VeVe. And I'm going to illustrate it by looking at the Lamborghini drop. So before I do that, I know it's going to be boring. I got to look at the terms of use. But the terms of use explain this: gems are not securities. They're trying to get away from the securities, the SEC and everything, but it doesn't matter what they state in the terms of use. The regulatory bodies are going to make their own determination. The next three are key. VeVe does not accept or hold deposits from customers and is not a bank. So this almost doesn't make sense, because in the original sense, it does make sense because you're buying in-app tokens to just play within the game. So it's not really holding deposits. You've traded your dollars for gems to play in the game. But now with cash out, those game tokens have become real dollars. So I don't know how they can say they're not holding deposits, because you're converting fiat to gem on a one-to-one peg. Here's C is really key. VeVe does not insure customer funds it holds or the collectibles themselves. So if you lose the money that's you've put into the app, it's gone. Okay. And it says we're not a money transmitter. They work with third parties who process the payments for gems and gem withdrawals, which is Wire. Wire holds the money transmitter license, the MTL. We're not going to go into that. I have very strong opinions about that, which I just won't talk about. So let's look to see how this actually becomes a problem for VeVe. And this is why I think David last year said they were going to get rid of your ability to hold gems. That he said that you're gonna buy gems as you need to use them, but that never happened, and that's been forgotten. And I'm very confident that he understands the issue, and that's why he said that, and why that changed from then till I think it was like middle of last year until till now. I don't know, but let me illustrate the problem for you. So this is my Lambo gem to fiat drop analysis. I'll put this spreadsheet up on Google Drive, and you can download it and play with it yourself. Hopefully, I'm right here. I think I am. So let's look at this. So the drop was $70, as we all know. We all know the min sizes, and VeVe took 80. So this is the number we're going to be looking at. What was the total revenue of the drop in US dollars for the public. I'm taking out what VeVe kept for themselves. The value is, and this is the key number, $337,080. So this is the number that's going to flow to everything else below. Now, Superstar Money showed a breakdown of the wallets. So that basically 70% of the users that went for the drop or that got the Lambo drop had a number of collectibles in their wallet, so they're not first-time users. So you would assume, I'm making this assumption there. So let's take that 70% number. So that comes out to 70% of the 437,000 comes out to $305,956. So this is the number we're going to be working with. So this is the dollar amount that transacted for that 70%. And why I put gems is I'm making an assumption that these 70% of these people use gems. Why am I making that assumption? Is because the behavior of 100% of the people that I talked to that said they used gems that they had existing. And I think for corollary proof, you can see what happened with the gem squeeze, where it basically dropped the value of the collectibles between 12 and 15% because people were selling off stuff to get gems to go for Lambo. So I'm taking 70% of that, which is this number, and I'm assuming the remaining 30% will be fiat, so 131,124. So this is new money that is being that was brought into the app. There was a total of $646,000 brought into the app. But I'm assuming here that because of how the wallet breakdown went, only 131,000 of this money went to the drop itself. The remainder went to the secondary market where the action was. And that's going to be important. So we're breaking it down between the drop market and the secondary market. So here's the VeVe value right here, and this all equals this number right here. So why is this an issue? And that's because the issue is that these aren't quote unquote real dollars. Because how can you say that? They're pegged 1-to-1. But this is money that allegedly, I don't know if allegedly is the word, supposedly VeVe has in their reserves. So all the money that comes in, each gem that's created, there's one USD behind it. Kind of like Tether and all this stuff. The unfortunate thing, as Reese said in an AMA, they would not disclose. Somebody asked them about that. I forget who it was, but Reese said they would not disclose whether it is pegged at 1-to-1. They have $1 for every gem that is in circulation. But let's just assume that there is. So this money that's transacting here is all money they have. Now, why does this become a problem? Let's look down here. Now, I have no idea what the VeVe's profit margin is on the drops. But they have cost of goods. They have to pay the licensor. They have to pay payroll. They have to pay their AWS fees. They have to pay lawyers. They have to do all this, the cost of goods. They have to pay the development of the model. So I broke it down between that their profit margin is between 20 to 60%. So if it's a 20% profit margin, the total amount that they would profit on the drop of 437,000 would be 87,000. 61,000 of that would be gems. 26,000 would be from the fiat that they got in. Now here's the problem, right? So this is the profit, but where's the cost of goods here? So at a 20% profit margin, their cost of goods is, you add up these two numbers, is 348,000. So they can cover 104,000 of that with the fiat they got in, but this number here, which is just gems, comes out of VeVe's Gem USD account. So this is just coming straight out. Now, if we go to, let's say they had a 60% profit margin, um, again here, the money that's going out is 122,000. So they got basically, so it's almost a wash, right? Because they're getting 52,000 in the fiat, and they make a profit of 78,000 in the fiat, which is a little bit more than, it's roughly 130,000. So they're taking in 130,000, but they got to shell out 122,000 again to the licensor or whatever. So the more that people just use gems on these drops, the more money VeVe has to take from gems to USD to send out. So in one sense, um, I want I it's not a Ponzi scheme. I don't want to say it's a Ponzi scheme, but it's kind of like that. The money coming in the sense that money coming in is funding these outflows. So where's the money coming in? Right here. On the drop day, $646,000 were converted from USD to gems. So what happens at this point? Okay, so this number here was the amount on the drop, VeVe's revenue. But this number here is, and of course there was more flipping during the market right there, right? But assuming it was just 1 to 1, remember VeVe's revenue is the 2% fee. So on this amount of money that's coming in, there, if everyone was used in the secondary, if the bulk of it went to the secondary market, they're basically only making 10 grand, which is a ridiculously low amount of money. So they're basically, this minus the drop revenue, 2% of that is only 10 grand. So how would this change? I think from a cash flow basis, like let's say it's a Funko drop or whatever, a DC drop. Basically, you're buying credits, right? So you're loading your account with US dollars or the US dollar equivalent where you make the purchase. So there's always cash flow coming in for it is a true 1 to 1 peg. The money coming in for the drop is what's used to fund the drop, to pay the expenses, and the profit comes out of there. VeVe's model is very complicated, and we can see why, because that's like David said, that's not how it was intended to be. So it got bastardized into this because they turned the game into an investment. Okay, let's say we don't want to be called a security. Let's say it turned the game into a marketplace where there's cash out. And I really believe that's why David said in the middle of 2022 that they were going to get rid of that, the ability to hold all the hold all the gems that you would buy. It would just be a 1 to 1 peg on drop day. I believe that this has the potential in the United States to cause them problems with securities regulations. It'll be curious to see, because the terms of use, I believe, are designed correctly to avoid that. They, they were looking at this way ahead of time by saying it's not a security and they don't hold deposits. Now, what is SEC going after? And that is that the money people put into places like FTX just went away. All these deposits, all this value of what's here as dollars or gems just disappears because they say they're not insured. Based on David's reactions mid of 2022 to the fall, I believe they had this issue in their sights, but I think it fell out of their sights as their focus was on um, OUP, crypto to gem, all of this. So it further complicated the problem. I think this is going to have to be addressed at some point, because I believe it has the potential, and I use the word potential, to cause VV problems in the future, and especially with the SEC ruling against NBA Top Shots, because where they're basically complaining about two things: is the underlying private slash blockchain, which in this case would be Ecomi, and the secondary market is basically what we're talking about here, where all the revenue is. That is the secondary market that is run by the same company that is selling the NFTs and also owns the blockchain. Well, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think. I know it's kind of confusing. I'd be more than happy to discuss this with you in the comments or on Twitter. Um, I'll leave the spreadsheet link in the description, and I will post it on Google Drive. Hopefully, I didn't make a mistake here. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and aloha.